Tell chat to refresh here.
Did you restart your stream?
Yeah, I did.
How'd you?
All right, showing you. Showing here. Can you give me a little sound check for you guys?
I am
Chicken
speaking for a sound check.
It's McNuggets.
Yeah, I've got plenty of readings on both of you. Can hear all of us. Oh, thank God. Fucking all I did was restart OBS and my mic's working. So fuck Streamlabs. Welcome back to the Halo Dickheads podcast for the fucking second time now. Thank you all for coming. Well, we were going to talk about matchmaking, but I've completely lost fucking flow with that. So we'll come back to that. Let's talk about the Halo TV show. Reaching, have you seen it?
Yeah, I actually did watch the first episode right after it aired.
Nice.
I've not.
Okay.
And I really don't care to. I always end up watching these things very late, but I'm kind of a stickler for like monomyth stories. I think that having those hero with 1,000 faces type stories is very important. And whenever I watch them get defaced, like the new Star Wars or whatever else you want to bring to whatever else comes to mind for you, it's just depressing.
So it really killed you to see Chief then, right?
Yes, but I mean, you know it's going to be horrible though going in. There's no way it could possibly be good. Paramount Plus is a complete joke. So,
well, I'll tell you what. I mean, I kind of enjoy it just for the entertainment's sake, but in terms of it being like something that like I'm like, oh, like I can't wait. Like what's gonna happen next? Like, no, it's not like that. It's more like, all right, well, I have nothing else to do. I'm trying to go to sleep. Let me put this on. I guess it's cool.
Yeah, I'll put this on to fall asleep.
Yeah.
My brother's.
So like,
listen to me. I'm drunk, guys.
when I was watching the first episode, like I already got the spoilers online from like Chief getting his helmet removed and shit, but it was just like, huh. Like, okay, so I guess that's a thing now.
They removed his helmet right off the break.
Dude, they didn't even, like, in Mandalorian, they waited for, like, what, 6-7 episodes or something crazy, and then, like, finally did it. Dude, first, like, fucking half hour. Like, they have him, like, de-helmetized. They're like, it has to be a sentimental moment. It's like, dude, you just fucked me and then coomed, like, in a minute. Like, no, like...
Yeah.
This is not good.
It just has, like, frantically... horrible pacing. I think is probably the worst thing about the first episode.
Yeah,
and we're also approaching Dungeons and Dragons and a couple of other fantasy games. There's something called like the player singularity, where every player character will end up being like some sort of nondescript furry with some magic powers that also can swing a sword. We're hitting like the what's it called? The singularity of like science fiction space marines.
Oh, fuck,
where Master
true.
Chief, like they've forgotten if he's like a Warhammer space marine or if he's supposed to be like from Starship Troopers or if he's supposed to be like how a Spartan is in Halo. He's just kind of weird assembled traits of all of them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Master Chief in the show, if no one's seen it, goes on basically like a routine mission to go shoot elites. And then within the span of, it has to be under a day, so a few hours, a woman asks him like, hey, have you ever thought about not following orders? And then he says, that would make me think about things. And then he thinks about it really hard and then decides that because his memories are repressed of his childhood or something, he needs to defy the UNSC. It's ridiculous.
Let me explain it for those that haven't seen it.
It happens in like a couple hours in universe as well. So,
well, it's like, well, here's what they did. Like, if you're a lore head or you like the campaigns and shit, like, there's a Forerunner artifact that they find on Madrigal and when they're excavating, and the Forerunner artifact, it's shaped like a slice of pizza, and when Chief touches it, it kicks his memories back in of his early childhood that they had repressed from his Spartan augmentations. And when he got those memories back for the first time, he felt in a different headspace via UNSC's brainwashing. Now, a lot of people are saying that it's not to the lore, but it kind of is in a way with the Spartan 2 program when you really look into it. John's history of of conscription was involuntary. He was kidnapped for his genetic profile by Halsey because he could survive the augmentation process and all this shit. But one of the main differences was that in this series, no other human except for like some weird, I'll talk about her later, but Chief is the only one that can really actualize these artifacts. But in lore, the Forerunners genetically altered humans for all of them to be able to interact with them. They're the reclaimers. They're the rightful heirs to the Forerunner technology. So when the librarian reseeded Earth with this new genetic profile, they eventually should all be able to access these things. So that's like one of the biggest fucking holes of plot that I'm still trying to figure out is like, how the fuck are they going to work around that? Because it's so central to the core fucking idea of what humans in Halo are. So when I saw that, and then his memories came like that were repressed and all that, I'm like, Chief, like, first off, Halsey's way too young. Like, lore-wise, like she's an older woman by the time Chief is this age. She was that age when Chief was a fucking kid. So like first, like that's fucked. So like they're going all kinds of crazy directions in terms of telling the story. She's married to Keyes, like, which I don't think was lore, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't think that they were ever formally married.
No, I don't think that they had I don't think that Miranda was their kid, was it?
Flapping on the side.
That's the implication.
Yeah,
Halo
so it's
2.
like it just none of it really made too much sense to me. But when they interact with the artifact, John he rescues a girl from Madrigal that are from these forces called insurrectionists or rebels. If you're into the Halo lore, if you've ever played Reach, the beginning of Reach, they believe that the power outage on Reach was caused by insurrectionist forces. Long story short, they stole this from Gundam. Fucking, if you're into Gundam, the outer worlds and the outer colonies were being mistreated by the UNSC, so they wanted to have independence, and that's what the insurrectionists and rebels are people that don't want to be ruled by the Earth, aka UNSC. And this girl and her dad were like the main royalty, I guess, or the clan's leader of these people. And the dad gets killed by an elite when they come to excavate this artifact. They find the village and they fuck them all up. And then Chief and Silver Team come in response to the Covenant, not to fight the insurrectionists, but they come down in response to the Covenant and they fuck them all up. And this girl is rescued by Silver Team. That was an insurrectionist girl. They take her in. She's a fucking risk, according to the UNSC, so they order Chief to kill her. But this is right after he touched that artifact and he's feeling human again. So, like, this is the lore they're going with. And, like, I get it, but I feel like Chief would have already done that morally. Like, I don't think he needed to have, like, specialty access to this fucking artifact for him to, like, have morality for humans. Yeah, because, like, in the games, like, he knows... Like, he doesn't need to be told by the UNSC to, like, save people's lives. Like, he knows it's just the morally right thing to fucking do. So it's kind of it's really bad writing, in my opinion, but it's entertaining because of the gore and the fighting. And, like, I don't know if you know this or not, Goat, but they use the original fucking camo sounds and recharge sounds for the fight scenes and shit.
That's sick.
Yeah, so, yeah, like, there's cool shit from the game in it, but then they're, like, they throw you these fucking weird curveballs. You're like, oh, okay, I guess, but, like... I'm really lost now because I'm trying to reformulate like what I thought I knew about like Halo. Like, you know, I was like, wait, like, what are the like? I
don't know. I mean, I'll call me crazy, but I've been playing this game for like 20 years. Like,
yeah, you know,
what the fuck is this?
And you know,
but in their defense, you gotta realize too that when they go to make a show, they realize that people have been playing the game for 20 years and they don't want to know everything that's going to happen. So they need to, as writers, they need to throw a little curveball in there to kind of to take people off of like what they think it's going to be, you know?
Yeah,
like,
if Magical doesn't get glass, I'm going to be pissed.
Like imagine if they made like an Ocarina of Time Zelda movie, right? Like we all know the story, we all know how it ends, but what if it went exactly canon to like how the story goes, then it would be a boring movie. Like you got to throw something in there because then people aren't going to be entertained. They're going to be like, oh yeah, this happens and that happens, and in the end,
they fucked it up in the way that Dragon Ball Z live action movie was fucked up. You know, Like it's going on that slope towards that end of the spectrum of bad interpretation of something.
Well, the thing is, I haven't seen any bit of the show. All I saw was like the preview, and that didn't look that good from what I saw. So yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
I
guys
don't
see it?
know. No,
Did
no
they throw like a
elements of that.
Chevy? Did they throw a Chevy Tahoe or something like in the actual background?
That's the thing is like in the lore of Halo, these insurrectionist groups, they're all scrappers and all that. So yeah, like they have AK-47s, they have all this old shit, a few hundred years old.
That's 500 years old though, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's fucking all American steel, baby. That ain't going nowhere. No, I'm just kidding.
In the Halo universe, a lot of designs are like extremely old though. Like they have like century-old service rifles. The Scorpion tank, I think, was made like 100 years before the events of the first Halo game.
Right.
So because
like
technology kind of like
2300.
slows down as they're trying to. So I can accept whatever technology they want. I would have been more interested to see like Jotuns or something, which are like big harvesting machines from Contact Harvest. That would have been more interesting to see.
Yeah, they don't have Johnson in there yet, which is kind of pissing me off. I want to see Avery.
Yeah. So if you want to talk about like John's character with relation to his early childhood, if you've actually read the books, he doesn't care.
Yeah, exactly.
Or he's so indoctrinated that he realizes he's 12. He's doing like an orienteering exercise where they have to make their way to a pelican.
Yep, and he's thinking to himself, guys and all that shit.
He's thinking to himself as he walks through this like wintry woods that like he's very happy that a few years ago his life was refocused and given purpose.
Yeah, that's in the fucking books. He accepted his role.
And he feels like he's going to be like the savior of humanity, and he's going to stop the insurrection, and he actually is like, he's not like a true believer at any point in like the UNSC's ideals, but he wants to be this like soldier for humanity. He's like the indoctrination's worked on him, but on some genetic level, he's also into it. So, but seeing his like memories come back is just something that's like cribbed from like Warhammer 40,000 or any other mind-wiped Space Marine thing.
Yep.
Halo was unique in not doing that. These guys are just special forces dudes with titanium bones in suit. Like they aren't really that exceptional. Like they aren't magic.
Yeah.
So trying to make it like super duper important like that is weird.
Yeah,
I do like the idea of having one of the Forerunner artifacts that can like manipulate space and time, though, because it shocks a pelican back to life.
Yes, correct.
That's in what is it, Ghost of Onyx?
Right. So they're keeping some of the lore.
Or was it First Strike? Anyway,
I think
one of them
Onyx.
they pick up that Forerunner artifact that reacts to slip space.
Yep.
So that would be cool to see something like that in the show, just in visual form. I think that kind of
episode 2 they go into
cool.
that. I don't know if you've seen it yet, but they're going in that direction for sure. But it's like I said, like the other humans touch it, nothing happens. So I'm just like, fuck, man. Like they're rewriting like the Forerunner, like literally the mantle of responsibilities definition. Like so it's gonna be really weird. And then they have that chick that's like working with the Covenant and the 3 prophets. Like, and it's some human chick, and it's just like, wait, like, and she can activate the shit apparently too. But it's like, what the, I don't know. It's just weird to me, but. In episode 2, they go over a lot of the insurrectionist stuff, and like one of the insurrectionist leaders is an ex-Spartan that is in charge of all that stuff. It is on an asteroid belt, like lore that they talk about, but they don't really like. I feel like the timeline's completely off on everything. Like everyone's too old or too young for where these events in the lore should be. You know, like there's. Maybe it's because they got to have younger faces or something for Hollywood or some shit, but it's just really confusing for somebody that knows what's going on, like how to interpret it. And Sean Dubbs talks about this in one of his more recent videos. He was on one of the more recent podcasts, but he stresses the words that 343 keeps repeating like a mantra to bring in a broader audience. They specifically cite that the current community is a drawback on them bringing in a broader audience, which just translates to people that aren't like us. So, and they're willing to sacrifice all of these key things to do that. But it's fucking backfiring because nobody really, like, the only people that are gonna watch, like, my dad's not gonna watch a fucking Halo TV show. My fucking neighbor's not gonna watch a Halo TV show because they didn't play the fucking games. Like, they didn't really, you know, that's like trying to get somebody to watch, you know, like a Warhammer TV series if they tried and they never played the game. So, like, they really missed, they swung and missed at this. Like, they could have really fucking catered. Like, my favorite example of what the show could have been was
that Cortana, bro.
they've only shown her physical clone before they extract the brain and all. I don't know if they're actually going to do that, but the brain tissue to make her, which is part of the lore. But fucking A. The last time we had a good representation of Halo on live action, in my opinion, was that I think it was Peter Jackson when he did that ODST and Marine fight against the Brutes and the Banshees when Master Chief is first falling from the sky right before Halo 3 starts.
That's Neil Blomkamp, and that's called Halo 3 Landfall.
Landfall, yeah. So I've been rewatching that, and I mean, that they had the EVA foam, they had the spikers, they had the spike grenades, the Brutes, like the sniper rifles had the trail of smoke coming off of it. Everything was correct. Like, it just looked like, holy fuck, this is like a cutscene if it was ever live action. And I feel like with a TV show, it's more like a fucking Bonnie Ross vanity project. You know, it's just, they're swinging and missing really hard on something they could have knocked out of the park. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the weird thing is that Halo, at least in terms of the advertisements, has always had really good live action adaptations, right? Because you had the Museum of Humanity, you had Landfall, which was like it was used as a trailer a couple times, but it never amounted to the Halo film that they wanted to do at the time.
It became District 9, fun fact.
Yeah. Well, and what's the other one? Elysium also used some of the props from it. Yeah. The and there's the We Are ODST trailer as well, which was super, super good for the Halo 3 ODST. So, you know, it's always able to adapt to live action super well. Like, these guys clearly get it. Why aren't they working with the show? So, yeah, I remember being so impressed by Landfall too. How, because like the way that the violence in the books is
shook me,
yeah, the way that the violence in the books is written is always like super, super brutal because it's like you're like a Marine watching this. Whereas in the games, like Spartans are like angels of death, right? Like you walk around and like, you know, punching a grunt sends them flying. A grunt's like the size of a Marine and twice as heavy in all their gear and shit. So the scale of damage is much higher when you're inhabiting Master Chief's helmet. But in the books, it's like you're just like an infantryman in World War I or something. People's legs are getting shattered and stuff. So in Landfall, like the dude gets spiked to the wall and he's trying to use the laser.
He's still shooting back too, like a bad motherfucker.
And the corpsman is like grinding the spike off with like a
they took the saw to the fucking spike to detach him so that they could get in. And then right after that, when they get into the safe spot, they pull out the spanker and fucking turn a Brute into fucking confetti, bro. They blasted him in a million pieces. It was so sick.
So that was super, super cool.
Oh man, like they need to take fucking notes, man, because like that, just like if 343, if you're lost, you're trying to figure out how to do like season 2. If this is already in production, just go watch Halo Landfall. That fucking 7 minutes of footage is all you need to know about what Halo fans really want. That got nothing but positive reception.
But the most impressive thing about it was that it was tonally like very on brand with not only the Halo games but also the books.
Yes.
Right. So you have this like contrast but also like agreement with the Halo games that like it's not quite this heroic story because these are just like Marines and ODSTs, right? They're not like king shit like Master Chief is. And like there's like that weird sense of like hope but futility, like we need to go get Master Chief's landing location. That's what it's about. Like they're willing to sacrifice squads of special forces guys, like multiple transports, like all kinds of shit, just to get the trajectory that Chief's gonna hit Africa at. Like which is super, super cool. And they kind of win. They get it too. So it's tonally so on.
They had some losses, some damage, but man, like Chief, like you could tell, like he's the hope for humanity is his definition, you know. Oh man. So I mean, that's my kind of take on the show so far. I mean, it's not completely lore accurate, but there's some cool shit in there that is like kind of niche lore that they've snuck in and shit like that. They've used some sound effects from the games and some fight scenes. sounds kind of cheesy, but I mean, at least it's, you know, original and theirs, and not like they didn't like try to remake it or something weird.
Yeah.
But beyond that, let's talk matchmaking. Spend this last 20
Where we
minutes.
where are we at with time?
20 minutes right now.
Okay.
So we do 20 more minutes. It'll be like a nice 45-minute podcast.
Okay.
So unfortunately, we had some audio issues, but we're going to just skim over what we talked about earlier. Multiplayer is getting a few things. There's a new map called Catalyst. It's going to be an arena map. King of the Hill is coming back to a bunch of playlists. Attrition will be added to multiple playlists, which is that revive mode with the shrinking circle and all that shit. Motion Tracker is going to have the detection for shooting and sprinting on the edge of it, rather than it just being in the 18 meters, which is going to be very helpful for gameplay and social. Big Team Battle is adding a new map called Breaker. It's going to be the one that looks like a CE, kind of big tower almost kind of map. Jeff Steitzer's voice is returning for the earned medals for Big Team Battle exclusively. I don't know why they don't just fucking put it in all of them, because Jesus Christ, that's been tradition since game 1 all the way through the games 343 is made. I don't know why they're taking it out. It's as Halo as American as apple pie, man. Like it's needed. Matchmaking's getting a CSR progression update, in which you'll see your game by game progression instead of your total session progression. Which I mean, whatever, it doesn't really matter much. The CSR system sucks anyway.
When are they gonna get rid of that stupid fucking medal they call a Killionaire and stop adding time for every multi-kill? Are they gonna get rid of that shit?
They better. I mean, if they really want content, yeah, if they want content, they need to fix the sniper rifle, and they need to lower the times
Timer.
between them. Yeah, it needs to just be 3 seconds, man.
Dude, there's people I know who can't even get kill tax at MCC, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I got a Killionaire in Infinite the other day," like nonchalant. I'm like, right?
Did you? Did you really?
No, I mean, no, I believe they did, but
Yeah.
the thing is the nairs that they're hitting are like.
And there needs to be maybe an option in which you can
I mean, these
toggle on or
multi-kills
off
are
at
like
least.
these multi-kills are like 3 minutes long, bro. Like, it's like, what the fuck?
You know
like,
what
the whole
they
montage
yeah.
is one clip.
They're sprinting for like 7 seconds, like to the other side of the map.
I just killed a guy. Hold on. I'm going to get the double kill in 1 second. Hold on. Oh, the triple kill's on the other side of the map. Hold on. Like, all right.
So check this out. Networking. They're going to be fixing melee fights. They should be more consistent. There's not going to be as much phasing through and whiffing less when melee should have connected. Apparently, they're working on the net code for how it reacts with everybody. No Forge, no co-op campaign. We were talking earlier about, you know, whether the maps are going to be made by 343 or if they're going to put out any more maps. I don't think they should. I think they've lost their touch. They've lost their rights. They gave us fucking Behemoth and Bazaar and all this shit. I think it's up to the community to just make maps again,
Yes.
like Fritzer and all those guys.
The maps are very bizarre, all right.
But let's slow down here and actually talk about some things now that we've skimmed over things we've already talked about earlier. There's going to be a global melee damage decrease of 10% on all weapons, which will make the Mangler need to be 2-shot beatdown for a kill. So no longer is it 1-shot beatdown. It's still unfortunately probably going to be 1-shot headshot. You know, we switch or drop the weapon, so that's not going away. So God forbid you just nerf the weapon, they're just going to do a damage nerf across the board. Even though all the fights are going to end in trades anyway, because this fucking stupid melee system has so much aim assist and aim correction and no vertical fucking differential like Halo 2 did, you know. But here's cool. Drop wall will see slight performance increases, and overshield will be getting a little bit more increase. Isn't it only one sliver, if I'm not mistaken, on Infinite? Like you only get one extra line.
Oh yeah, 1 bar.
Only get one.
I think by default it's 1 bar. I feel like in the competitive rules, it might actually give you 2 layers.
I really don't know, but
Because I'm trying to think. I actually know. Yeah, I'm pretty sure whenever I see people activate it, it's just one.
like silver bar,
one
right?
bar. Yeah, 1 bar of OS.
So it might be it's going to get a buff. So I mean that's cool.
What I'm concerned about is the that one layer of overshields, is that equivalent to 2 layers though, back in like Halo 2 or
Mm,
something?
right.
Because it might just be visually displayed differently, but it's actually equivalent to the same amount of damage reduction. So I don't know.
I'm not sure. I mean, when I picked it up, it didn't feel like it was double. I felt like I got fucking melted if I got team shotted with that thing.
Okay.
Um, but what do you guys think of the idea of having community spotlights for map producers, and do you think that they should maybe prioritize their focus a little more towards custom game browsers and such?
Um, so with what you were saying about good maps, just to backpedal slightly to that point, and then I'll talk about the community focus stuff. Um, what you're saying about 343 not making the maps anymore and the community doing it does make sense, but I think that developer created maps where they have access to like all the tools and more customizability options that they probably won't give over to the fans. You can have much more premium feeling better maps. I
I
think that's a
guess.
responsibility of the developer to try to give people some out of the box good maps and not entirely rely on the community.
Yeah, that's a good
Exactly.
point.
Because
That's exactly what I was gonna fucking say, and you just
yeah,
took the words right out of my mouth. But basically, what they should do is they should kind of have like a contest, if you will, of some sorts, and
Per se.
have map creators come out and then have the community vote on what they think are the best maps. Now, to an extent, and then take those ideas and then have the developers run and make that map for the community, like you said,
yeah,
with the better tools. Because
Yeah, it's a
one thing
great
I don't
idea.
want to see is kind of like a lot of like. Don't get me wrong, I like Forge and all, but the problem with Forge is you get a very like rough, bland slate um, rendition of what the map is. Kind of like when they did Reach and they did Sanctuary.
Yeah,
yeah,
It's very it's very gray. It's very ugly. It's bland. It's like you're playing on like sheets of metal or cardboard boxes. It just doesn't have the same feel as like Sanctuary in H2, where it looked, you had like the water and the
it's
branches and the
slate, but
rocks.
it's it looks better
yeah.
visually, but it's still
Oh,
nice and slate.
not only that, but is it just me, or do I feel like when I play Forge like games that the more shit you have on the map, the laggier the map runs?
Yes, that is a
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so like I feel like a lot of these maps that were done with a lot of detail, they actually run shittier than if they were just like done by a developer.
Yeah, the map Edge, I think, in Halo 3 MCC actually doesn't run well on the old school Xbox either. Like you get mad frame drops in the center of the map where the rockets spawn.
Yeah, see, so that's why Forge is just like it's a great idea. It just we're just not there yet where we could have not frame no frame drops and have a highly detailed map that's been forged.
Yeah.
That, and we also don't have like I feel like we don't have the budget within Forge to really let Forge shine to the point where people could add that level of detail. Whenever I did anything in Forge, I always felt limited based on my budget and how many pieces I had. And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, they give you a budget because they don't want you to crash the fucking game. You know?
Oh, I'm sorry. The map's called Waterfall. Thank you, leader. An icebox. Okay. Yeah.
If
Yeah.
um if I had to speculate, I'm imagining that the forge for this new Halo will probably be more like what the level editor was like for Halo 2, or even what like the Doom level editors are like. If you ever used those before, like Doom Builder and that,
Have you
where
not seen the previews?
are they actually able to draw terrain?
Well,
Because that's
they
one of the things that I
they have
heard kind of.
particle manipulation and shit. Yeah,
Okay.
so there's like all kinds of crazy shit. I mean, if you guys go look into it or whatever, I'm not gonna sit here and detail it out. But yeah, there's footage and shit. They just don't have it released yet fully. But yeah, there's gonna be. That's why I'm looking forward to it, because like you guys were talking about a lot of those developer UI things, not to the super extreme level of like gravity physics and shit like that. But I think of like light manipulation and lighting manipulation and things of that nature way better than like the filters that we had from the classic H3
Yep.
Forge kind of an idea. Like each individual item that has a light you can adjust like the luminosity of and such, at least from what I've seen. So there's cool things like that. You can adjust how many flies are gonna fly around a piece of shit. No, I'm kidding. But just just weird shit like that is what I've seen, at least in the previews, which is why I'm really excited, at least for Forge.
The only question I want to know is how many chickens can I forge on my map?
You can whatever. It's like Minecraft, man. Whatever your graphics card can render to your heart's desire. But I feel like, man, if they could just fix the fucking aim in this game. Oh my God, when we talk about, when we get to the aiming and their response in this fucking thing, God damn, are they out of touch? Anyway.
Well, we got 10 minutes, so.
Yeah, true. Let's move on here. Friend of Fro recognition, player outlines are going to be customizable so you can adjust the opacity and thickness. So not everybody's going to look the fucking same glowy psycho if you don't want it to. Here's a cool thing. The chopper collision splatter damage will be increased to its vehicle splattering glory, in their words. So you have a chopper, you go and boost on somebody, it's going to blow something up now, just like it used to, which it should. That was the whole point of the fucking thing, introductions to the sandbox. I never knew why they didn't do that in Infinite. The Banshee's agility and damage output will be increased to its role as a strike fighter. And Warthog and Razorbacks are going to be harder to flip and bounce. So they're going to have a little bit heavier gravity to them, which is cool. I think that they were a little too light and slidey anyway. But let's talk about the team's response to the fucking aiming here. They say, they're like, hey, this is the fucking team, the dev team responding to questions about the aim. They're like, hey, is there going to be any improvements on aim soon? And they go, we're working on decreasing the millisecond response time for PC controller players. I'm like, you dumb fucks. Like, you don't get it. Like, the aim acceleration and the fucking programming itself is heavy. It's not the fucking response time to a fucking controller. Like, they're really not listening. I guess it's me because I'm a fucking asshole to these guys. I've posted cheat manufacturer like suggestions for Halo Infinite, like on their game devs to fix certain things so that it operates like the old systems, because they know it better than the fucking devs do, because they make the cheats for MCC and shit. They know all the curvature times, the exact position on the stick it needs to be for things to work at the right way. So like, if you don't know it, talk to those guys. They want them to do it. And this is a fucked up reason to do it. But in order for their product, their cheat product to work as intended, it needs to have that classic aim too. So listen to those guys for that, and then just ban cheaters is my fucking suggestion. You know, like, you'll have the algorithms necessary to find that guy's code if you're fucking smart enough and be able to recognize it, just like the Ricochet system is starting to recognize Cronus devices. So, like, I don't want to hear no fucking excuses from 343. There are people that are publicly posting on these posts that Unisheck and all these guys are making about fixing the fucking aim. And I would play this game if it didn't fuck up my aim in all the other games that I play, man. I can't stress that enough. Anyway, do you have any talk about aim that you guys want to talk about, like whether it be classic aim and like what it takes to make classic aim and shit?
I digress. Like, you miss me, man, don't you?
Oh fuck, dude. I'm glad you're happy though, man. I'll always be glad you're happy. Yeah. I'll never try to be selfish and fucking draw you away from that.
I think that the aim in Infinite is extremely bad. How to make classic aim? I mean, it's already made for you. Like, all these games run on the same engine. Your interface to the controller is probably the same as whatever Blam version you're using for Halo 3. So you should just be able to match that, like the way that the cursor moves around the screen. At least that. I actually really like the modern aiming controls and MCC and stuff as well.
Yeah, I do too. I use modern,
which is something that they did make. So if I could just have that, like the modern aim Halo 2 feel,
right,
in Infinite, that would be awesome.
That's
like,
actually
I use
a really
the
good way
same
to word
computer and the same controller for both. It should feel the same.
Yeah.
My 2 cents on Infinite's aim is, like, I played Infinite and I don't know where it's been standing since I uninstalled it. But I will say that I play on 10. And when you play on 10, you play on 10 because you need speed. And when I do a 360 on Infinite, it took me like 3 seconds to do a 360, right? So why not just do like a level 20 system or 30 or 50 or 100 or whatever, like they do in like Call of Duty, where if you want to play in level 20, you can. Like, and they're like, oh, that's way too fast. Like, no, well, who's to say
No,
it's
it's
too
not.
fast?
Trust me, there are
Yeah,
CE heads out there that like fucking like.
yeah, exactly. Like when I slam my sticks around, I want to see everywhere. I don't want to see this little baby circle. I want to be like I'm everywhere. Like I want to be able to like whip around and you know,
Look
you
at what
know,
Cart's done. They've figured it out. You can have fucking crazy shit on
exactly.
there.
I want to be able to whip around fast. I don't want to be like limited to what you think my aiming speed should be at 10 cents. Like I want to go outside the boundaries. I don't want to be limited to your speed. And that was my biggest problem with Infinite. It was the fact that I felt like the speed was just so cut back that like I didn't even feel like my hands weren't moving as fast as my mind was. And I guess that's my biggest thing is like if you make a game, you have to make sure that wherever somebody's willing to go in their mind, the speed can be transferred into their controls.
Yep.
But if you feel like whatever you're doing in your head, you can't get it out fast enough on controller, then that should be addressed. One thing I loved about Halo 2 was the fact that if I made a mistake mid battle, I could always like Y or cancel out of it or X out of it and redo what I did. So like if I jump and go to do something and I hit the wrong button, I can cancel out of it and I can still execute the whatever I had to do before I hit the ground. And a lot of other games, it's like, oh, I hit that one wrong button, so here I'm going to go into a slow ass reload animation that I can't get out of while I'm getting my teeth kicked in.
Yeah.
You know, or oh shit, I fucked up that jump. Let me do this 180 and hit this guy with a sniper. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that because it takes me 3 fucking seconds to turn around on their 10 cents.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm like I don't feel comfortable in my own skin. I don't know if that's the right. I feel like my guy is not doing what my brain is already executed. That's if that makes any sense. So
Well, yeah, a lot of the greatest first-person shooters and games in general try to like not limit the players. There's always room for growth, right? Like, look how much like Quake Deathmatch has grown since it
Quake.
began, because it's just unlimited. You can do anything you want. Even like Combat Evolved, right? You can do anything. Go watch like Terror Beneath the Fog if you haven't seen it before.
Oh, fucking Christ, yeah.
I've seen it.
Anything is possible as long as you're enough of a tryhard, right? Just because of how good the control is in that game. That's on a shit version of CE too. That's on the crappy
MCC
Gearbox
port.
version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The
It's not even the good one.
the original Xbox version's even crazier. So that is such an amazing feeling that like you can just work on a game for 20 years and like never be finished because you can always go faster. Like Melee is still experiencing that, right? Where the game is faster than the controllers and the people's hands that
There's a
Exactly.
cap
using
that'll
them
never
for
be
long.
reached.
You should never start
So-
a journey on a new game and already feel like your potential is capped after the first fucking 15 minutes of playing it.
Yeah.
Like you shouldn't be like, this is it. This is as far as it goes, and I just started playing the game. It should be like maybe one day I could be half as good as half these control settings. That's exactly when I went to Infinite. I just was like, is this it? This is the end of the road. I just started, and like, this is as fast as it goes. This is as quick as it gets. This is as crazy as it goes. I was like, and we're like at like 30 miles an hour. We're not even fucking cruising yet.
In third gear.
You know? Yeah, I'm like, this is it. There's nothing more. This is it. You know, and yeah. So yeah, Quake and Unreal and all that. I mean, that's like a really good comparison. I mean, those games are like insane. Like on their controls, you know, even Call of Duty to an extent, as far as like the speed of how you could shoot is like insanely faster than Halo now.
Dude,
yeah.
his flicks are insane on Quake, man. The shit that he sent, my God. You guys got to get in the Zodiac Discord if you haven't yet, man. If you guys want, I'll put just DM me or I'll put it in the link below. I'll put the link in the description, all that shit. Come in here. We're doing another community montage. Thank you again, everybody, for fucking supporting that shit. You're gonna be having another one done in about 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks to get your clips in if you wanted to join us. And if you want to see it, go to my YouTube. We got our first community montage uploaded on there. But I also just gave Bo access to the official Cult Zodiac YouTube channel. So Bo is gonna be uploading shit on there So look out. He's got clips coming in. All the future montages, all the big stuff we're going to put marketing money behind are going to be on that channel. Not that you shouldn't follow mine too, but if you're into the Zodiac stuff.
One day the Goatman Gerald montage is going to be dropping too. Stay tuned for that, but don't hold your breath.
Yeah, you got to give these editors months, man, to make a masterpiece, you know.
Yeah.
Rome was not built in a day.
That's right.
So,
all right, boys.
Yeah, I mean, other than that, all I got here is that grenade jumping might come back. They might consider the toggle on and off for player collision, and then they just fucking dodge the bush about what the problem with aiming is, and that's the end of the update.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
right on, man.
It sounds pretty much as usual for 343. So
excellent. Well, guys, thank you again so much for fucking coming out tonight. Go, we need to get some games in, brother.
Oh, yeah.
Soon. I don't know if you want to install COD on your computer so that it actually runs well, but if you ever want to run that.
Nothing runs on my computer, bro.
Shit. Oh, man. Anyway,
we'll figure
guys,
something out.
Thanks again, guys. Reaching, what are you doing? What games are you playing recently?
I played like a little bit of Sandstorm. I've been playing The Forest again.
Oh, God. It's such a horror game.
I keep talking myself out of finally 100%ing Mechanicus. I don't know, just a bunch of shit like that. Nice. But yeah, I've been mostly working with like TG stuff recently, and not really doing that much with my computer. So just for the last little bit, like it's like anything. Like you never really quit playing Halo. You know, I haven't played it for a couple weeks. I'm sure I'll just start playing it again. I finally just completely rage quit when I got like thrown into a Halo Reach game where it's like my battle rifle was like a pool noodle. Like it just did nothing, and I was like, I really just don't want to be here playing this match right now. So
yeah, I think we all have our Halo fever where we think like, oh, this is it, I'm done, and then all of a sudden like something happens, and then you look over at your Xbox or your PC and you play a game, and all of a sudden it just hits you. Yeah,
you've been grinding for like 12 hours.
Over again, man. Yeah, exactly. But it's funny how it happens. There's been so many times I've walked away from Halo like, oh, I don't need to play that game. I'm good. I'm done. And then a few months go by, and I just get the fever, man. And I just feel like I gotta shoot somebody, and I just fired it up, and then kill 100,000 people and shut it off again.
God, it's so true. You know, I had an old local here that was Pro Point guy back in the MLG days for Halo 3. He was a guy I looked up to for his BR and like his general competence in gameplay. His name was 007. I knew him as Tyler. He was on Team The Takeover with King Bio, no skills, and then depending on what year, they had a fourth. But they were all locals for those three guys, and he he said it best to me, man. I'll never forget this. He came up to me at like during Reach. This was after 3. I hadn't seen this guy in years, and he like comes up to me. He's like, "Yep, knew you'd be back." And I'm like, "How'd you know?" He's like, "Halo players, it's in your blood." I was like, "Fuck, man." I was like, "Damn." Yeah. So true.
Yeah, I don't care like where I go in life or what I do. I know I'm always going to have a copy of Halo somewhere in a console or somewhere in a closet, and I'm just going to like pull off the fucking, the dust cover. And I'm going to be like, it's going to be on my old gun and badge, just waiting at the bottom of the closet, like just in case.
I'll be in a rocking chair with a fucking cigar and some whiskey. I'll get the phone call. He's like, "Hey. Repentancy is on. Hey, Calamity God's on, Blake. Like, we need our fourth." And I'm like, all right.
I'll be like, yeah, my grandkid came home with his high school buddy, and they think they're nice at Halo, and I'll teach him a couple things. He said, "That old game, I'll beat your ass with that old man." I'm like, "Oh yeah."
I'll pull up in my Farmer John truck.
Open up the old treasure. Open up the old chest in the attic.
Yeah, you pull out a Duke.
Dust off the Duke.
Put this in your hands, kid. See how long you hit before you get to carpal tunnel.
That's right.
Try to claw that, kid.
Yeah, I mean, I know
that should be a role in the Discord server. Actually, you have to have a Duke controller and just do an entire tour to Walsh, maybe 2 in a row, just using it.
You know what? You're a
Frank
captain, so
Claude.
I'm gonna grant you that permission. We're gonna make a rank for Duke. I already
Good
know
luck
2
finding
people.
one.
Yo,
I
go.
have
Me,
the,
fucking Eric, and Zach can all fucking vouch because we all played that fucking like insane fucking game rounds at the last LAN on the fucking old school controllers and the Dukes and shit. We were busting out Halo 2.
I've got the Xbox One Duke. Actually, I might do my Radica Gamester endurance test at some point.
Yeah.
I still haven't gotten the. Actually, no, I think I picked up the adapter for that a couple weeks ago. so
Holy fuck, dude! I want to get one of
yeah.
those.
You might see that. Maybe it'll be one of the community montages. Like some
Yeah.
unusably bad clip
Is
where
that
I beat
gold-
somebody
is
with
that
the
the-
Gamester. Yeah, with the pistol grips on it.
Yeah. Dude, you gotta mail that to all of us. We just gotta pass it around. Just keep
Yeah.
mailing it in a circle to everybody. I'll fucking have to go through the.
Well, it's
using
so
that.
turning legal. Like I don't know. I just had to use my legal controller. I can't use my scuff
Oh.
gaming controller. I need some of the macros.
Yo, speaking of fucking controllers, have you seen these Titan controllers? These cheat
No.
devices with fucking mod chips built into them for multi-game profiles like a
My
fucking
God.
Cronus. Dude, Cronuses and Apexes are sold out all over the place that they're just buying the mod chips and putting them in controllers now. Titan
Excellent.
controllers. Don't let them at your fucking tournaments. Watch out for them.
Fuck that.
Let me see your hand cam, kid. Where's your controller? But you know what's also fucked up is that people can put them in regular controllers too off of these modding websites.
Oh yeah.
So how the fuck do we do this other than on LAN? You know what I mean? Like it's fucking insanity. Let me see your apps on your phone, kid. You're not putting on
Yeah,
any profiles.
A few what was it? Like a couple months ago or a month ago, I was like literally taking my whole controller apart with a screwdriver on stream and like putting it all back together. I don't know if you guys remember that.
Oh, so you didn't
Yeah,
have any
yeah.
fucking mod chips and shit in there?
No, but I'm just saying,
That's
you know,
what
I don't
it
have any
takes,
mod
though,
chips 'cause
bro.
Yeah. I don't know, officer. You made a double shot controller right in front of me.
Bro, some crazy shit happened. Are we still doing the stream or are we done with the
All
stream?
right, I'm about to end it right now. We're good.